Spurs. The eyeball gone like dick, mate.
You miss your train.
Who are you? Take mine, you Southern fucking court! Wait, get him!
I'm surprised. I got a spoon.
Missiles fall from the sky as chaos erupts everywhere. People scatter in all directions seeking cover. For a moment, it seems the operation might succeed, but suddenly, everything flips. An ambush hits them out of nowhere, brutal and precise. The team is torn apart before they can even realize what is happening. Later, a report confirms that a survivor has been taken to a hospital. But shortly after, one name stands out: Sergeant Joseph Smith. Diagnosed with severe combat stress, he suddenly vanishes from the facility without a trace. 1 year later, two rough-looking men corner a group of homeless people, humiliating them while searching for sugar stones, drugs. They force them to open their mouths, checking carefully in case anyone is trying to hide them. Just as they move from one person to another, Joey suddenly springs into action. He lunges at them, creating enough chaos for Isabel to escape, but he is eventually overwhelmed. The attackers overpower him and deliver a brutal beating. Somehow, Joey manages to break free, runs down the street, climbs a building, and reaches the rooftop just seconds before his pursuers. With no time to lose, he slides through a skylight and falls into an apartment, managing to get inside before the men arrive. Acting as if he were the owner, Joey crawls to the fridge and grabs something to drink, fighting the pain from the beating. He drinks thirstily and settles in, as if the apartment had always been his. The next morning, the thugs catch up to Isabel and threaten her with a knife. That same morning, the former soldier decides to clean himself up. After a close shave, a long shower, and a decent suit, he looks like a different man, determined to turn the page. The apartment seems like pure luck. From what he can see, the owner is on a long trip and won't be back soon. While exploring, Joey finds a bank card along with the PIN. This discovery sends him straight to the streets. He starts by buying nice clothes, then goes after his preferred fix, and in no time, it takes effect. Now, high and wandering the streets, he begins bumping into people, sparking arguments and angry glares. But through the haze, flashes of his past return to his mind, memories of his time as a soldier in the Middle East. Moments he clearly hasn't escaped. Later that day, he approaches Christina, who distributes food to the homeless. Seeing the ex-soldier dressed in clean, expensive clothes, she is immediately suspicious. She believes he must have stolen them. When he discreetly leaves some money for his sister at the convent, that suspicion deepens. That night, she returns to her duties as a nun. After finishing her routine, she takes the money to the Reverend Mother's sister. When the superior asks where it came from, Christina admits she knows the donor, but doesn't know exactly what he does for a living. Still, since the money is for charity, they decide not to question it too much. Christina even believes it could be the answer to a prayer she made earlier. The Mother Reverend does not object when she suggests using part of the funds for that request. Elsewhere, the veteran's past hits him again. He is inside a tank when it comes under heavy fire. Bullets pierce the vehicle, taking out everyone inside except him. Then he wakes up. It was only a dream, but the memory still haunts him. Unable to shake the images, he reaches for the bottle again, the only place he usually finds some relief. While dealing with his wounds and memories, he suddenly sees a hummingbird hovering nearby. His instincts kick in immediately. Thinking he is under attack, he prepares to defend himself. But a moment later, he realizes there is nothing there. It's just his mind playing tricks on him. He drops the object he was holding. Later, he stops by where the nun works and tries to strike up a conversation, but she keeps her distance. Before anything else, she wants him to be honest, at the very least, to tell her his real name. He shrugs and simply says, "Smith." The conversation shifts when he asks for antibiotics. She refuses at first, explaining that she can't just hand out medication. He presses her and tells her the truth. He served in a special unit, but is now fleeing his own superiors. If he is caught, he will face a court-martial. The story softens her stance. Feeling pity, she finally gives in and decides to help him by taking him to her place. She gives him some medicine and warns him to stay away from alcohol, as it would negate the treatment. When Isabel's name comes up and the nun admits she hasn't seen the girl in a while, he writes down his address, hoping the young woman will find him if she appears. Before leaving, he stops at the door and, with sincerity, tells her what the streets say about her, that she is an angel. Back at the apartment, for once he follows her advice. The contents of the bottle go straight down the sink. Then, he improves his guest situation, this time borrowing the absent owner's car. Soon he is driving through the city putting up flyers, hoping his little friend sees one and contacts him. Meanwhile, while he wonders what became of the girl, the truth is much darker. Isabel is in a line with other girls, closely watched, as if they are about to be sent into a shady transaction. In the apartment, neighbors who have noticed the strange activity and know that the real owner, Damon, is away, knock on the door threatening to call the police. He manages to talk his way out of it by claiming to be the owner's boyfriend staying for the summer. It's an odd story, but they believe it and leave him alone. Now working in a restaurant, he is tasked with escorting a rowdy group of men outside. The request irritates them, and things heat up quickly. One guy pushes him, but Smith ignores it. The man tries again and receives a firm warning. When a third intervenes, the lesson is much harsher than expected. It turns into a fight, though for Smith, it's a piece of cake, taking down every man who attacks him without breaking a sweat. His boss watches everything like a blockbuster movie. As soon as Smith returns, the boss already has plans. Impressed, he decides to introduce him to a superior in the criminal network he belongs to. The big boss has heard stories about him, especially about his military past, and is more than willing to integrate him into his empire. Thus, he becomes part of Mr. Choi's team, accompanying him on errands and business. But first, he makes a quiet stop at a school, watching a little girl and her mother from a distance, feeling very emotional. Later, they stop near a phone booth, and the new recruit gets out. He approaches the man inside and calmly announces that there is a new sheriff in town with new rules. The man has no idea who he is and ignores him, backed by a guard with a machete. The ex-soldier ends the debate quickly. In seconds, both men are on the ground, and he repeats the message. There are new rules now. In a short time, he becomes the boss's right-hand man, dealing with problematic workers, meeting with clients on behalf of Mr. Choi, and accumulating money. Despite his new life, he continues to visit the nun, sending alms to support the homeless people she cares for. During a mission where he is only supposed to be the getaway driver, a child's scream as the car pulls away briefly unsteadies him, but he manages to compose himself. On a cool night, he sees Dawn, the woman who looks after his daughter, at a shopping center. She is resentful, out of work, and sometimes paying bills with sexual favors. She becomes aggressive, but he calms her down by handing her cash and promising more. Later, the nun joins him for an outdoor dinner where he is grilling. She drops a bombshell. The girl he has been looking for was found dead in a river. While she shows him photos to confirm the story, he tries to keep his composure, but snaps, flipping the table. He believes the authorities are useless, but now it's her turn to explode. She blames him for taking the job of distributing the stones. She is convinced that Isabel was a victim of what those drugs cause. Calm is restored instantly. She hands him guilt-free money, urging him to start from scratch, but he rejects it and makes her leave, dissatisfied with the outcome. Determined to avenge the girl, he hunts down the men who tormented the homeless, demanding the name of Isabel's killer. Brutal and efficient, he beats the first one and then interrogates the next with his knife. The first man tries to charge at him, only for Smith to mercilessly break his arms. He tosses the second into a dumpster, while he forces the one with broken arms to swallow pills until he falls unconscious. He forces the one who remains conscious to reveal the killer's identity using his methods. Before leaving, he tells those present to contact Joey if they need help and throws money at them. The next night, the nun accepts Smith's invitation to an art event, wearing the dress he bought her. He is there to obtain information useful to the authorities. When a man appears and catches Smith impersonating someone, the couple flees to avoid embarrassment. After a few too many glasses of wine, the nun, somewhat drunk and bold, looks into his eyes and their lips meet. Moments later, the nosy neighbor corners him in the parking lot, questioning his preferences. Later, he goes to collect money owed to his boss. They resist, but he does his job by taking down anyone in his path. As he leaves, a guy pulls a gun, but the hitman fires first, wounding him in the arm. It was clearly a warning shot. That night, the name Joey spreads like wildfire. The police surround the nuns' charity center looking for him. After evading them, he finds the sister, who tells him he is a wanted man and wonders why he hasn't changed his evil ways. As usual, they evade the problem and end up leaving in her van. During the trip, the emotions of the previous day surface, and Joey notices how raw and unfiltered the nun is with her words. Christina opens up. As a child, her father forced her into gymnastics instead of the ballet she loved. Her coach abused his position until, on the 18th attempt, she resisted fiercely, wounding him with a sharp object. Fortunately, she didn't go to prison, but to the convent. Later, she asks her superior to be reassigned to Africa. Faced with protest, she insists that there are too many distractions and wants to leave immediately. Meanwhile, the ex-soldier meets with his boss demanding to see the lady boss at the top. He is granted an audience, and his only request is to identify the man who took Isabel away forever. The lady boss agrees but asks for a favor in return, a job that no one dares to accept. He sets off driving a truck loaded with people in crates to an unknown location. Meanwhile, Max, a frequent client of girls, assaults one, but another woman takes advantage of the chaos to steal a document and hand it to the tough guy. He dresses elegantly, takes a camera, and meets with the nun to take photos to send to his daughter. She encourages him to smile, but his face is too hardened. In the restaurant, she manages to get a small smile out of him before giving him the news. She is leaving for Africa the next day. He remains stoic, but she feels his struggle and promises to enjoy this last night with him, which is exactly what they do. The next morning, the apartment owner returns and is surprised to find intruders. The couple packs up and slips out before he enters. On the street, he wishes they could run away together permanently, but the nun has other plans, although her heart clearly belongs to him. She invites him to a ballet that night, sealing the bond. That night, Smith stops by Dawn's apartment, but it is his daughter who opens the door. He hands her photos and a bag full of money. Although the girl doesn't understand, Dawn gets the message immediately. While the nun enjoys the ballet, the former fighter attends an event and, as planned, encounters Max, the guy who ended Isabel's life. Introductions are brief before violence erupts. The ex-soldier takes matters into his own hands, and soon, Max falls to his death from a skyscraper. After the show, the nun walks home and finds him collapsed in the street, drunk. She tends to him while he explains why he drinks, to numb the animal inside him, the lethal weapon the army turned him into. He recounts his terrible mission where enemies wiped out his colleagues, and he returned the favor. As he relives it, tears fall freely. The next morning, she prepares for Africa when someone hands her an envelope, photos, and a letter from him, praising the good she has done since she reformed and his plan to return to the outskirts. Meanwhile, the police finally confirm his identity as the soldier who fled, moving quickly to contain the last survivor of that terrible ordeal. Joey's journey proves that you can change your clothes and your environment, but running from your own mind is a completely different war. He walked a thin line the entire time, acting as a ruthless enforcer one minute and as a guardian angel for the broken the next.